Well, Kanye West is at it again. He's in the news recently for these comments.
Because I'm God. And anyone who disagree, I'm the God of me. I'm the God of me. I am God. No one can suggest to me. Period. God runs the world. I am God. I run the world. You know what I'm saying? This is really God.
Now, of course, if you haven't been hiding under a rock, you'll recognize Kanye's journey over the last few years, right? He became a Christian, came out with an album called Jesus is King. It was a really good Christian hip-hop album. He said, I'm done cursing. I'm going to even maybe remake my old music and make it so that it's glorifying to God. That, of course, didn't happen. But since then, he has slowly been going off of the rails from a Christian perspective. He had some different struggles, different battles that he was going through, and he kind of felt like since that time of rededicating his life to God, everything crumbled all around him, and he was looking for God's help. So this week he says, I am God, claims divinity. Well, is Kanye right? If you would like to learn this sort of Christian information in a fun way, check out our board game in the description section below, or go to welcometotruth.com for more Christian education and apologetics. Kanye says that he is the God of himself. He is his own God. So there's actually a name for this. This is called I say relativism. Morality is that right and wrong exist, okay? To moral relativists, every morality is equal, right? Some societies love their neighbors, some societies eat their neighbors. They're equal. No one morality is better than any other morality. Now, some people agree with Kanye, and they'll say, I am my own God. That's called I say relativism, meaning nobody can't tell me anything. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's called I say relativism. So in more complex terms, I say relativism is also known as individual ethical relativism or ethical subjectivism. Okay? Then there's also people who say that society says what's right or wrong. Okay? That's called society says relativism. And another way to say society says relativism is called conventionalism or normative ethical relativism. So this brings up an interesting question. Is Kanye right? Are we all just our own gods? No. In the same way that Kanye says, hey, can't nobody tell me what to do? Nobody can tell me that I'm wrong. I am right. I am my own God. Well, then if that's right, well, what happens when that person comes against another person who thinks that they are their own God? And what if that person likes to punch other people in the face when they walk by, right? Shouldn't they be allowed to punch other people in the face if that's what they want to do? There may be other people who like to murder people, right? They like to murder other people. So shouldn't they be allowed to do what they want to do as well? So this type of morality, everyone doing what they want to do, is the same thing as there being no morality. So when I say relativism, and the relativism that Kanye is talking about, everybody just does what they want to do. Well, if there was no morality, then what would happen? Everyone would just do what they want to do. And the best way to demonstrate how ridiculous this point of view is, and that we should all just live that way, is to go up to a relativist and take their wallet, right? Take their wallet and start to walk away. That relativist is going to real quick say, hey, what are you doing taking my wallet? And you can say, well, I feel like I like to take people's wallets. That's what my morality is. And they're going to say, well, no, that's wrong to do that. And you could say, well, what is right and wrong, right? Right and wrong, according to I say morality, the kind of morality Kanye is talking about, is just doing what I want to do. So for me, stealing wallets is a good thing to do. You may not like it, but you're the God of your own, your own self, and I'm the God of my own self. So you can see how this, again, would quickly unravel our society. The strong man would be the one that would have all the power until another stronger would come along and defeat that strong man. Okay, so morality cannot exist just within ourselves. Without a standard, you can just do what you want to do and I do what I want to do, and that's it. And no one is more right or more wrong than the other. Mother Teresa would be no better than an Adolf Hitler, right? Hitler thought it was right what he was doing. Well, let's look at the second one. society says relativism, right? A lot of you in the comments will say, well, society is the one who dictates right and wrong. We don't need a God. So society says relativism, also known as conventionalism or normative ethical relativism, says that society is the one who dictates what is right or wrong. Now, the problem with that, again, is some societies love their neighbors, other societies eat their neighbors. So which one, is there one that is better or worse than the other? If you think society dictates what is right or wrong, then the society that eats their neighbors is no worse than the society that loves their neighbors. And the society that loves their neighbors is no better than the other. An example would be, say, living in the Third Reich under Adolf Hitler, right? What Hitler did, his society said was right, okay? The murder of 6 million Jews in the death camps, right? You can't actually say, if you're an honest relativist, you can't say, and I would say an honest atheist, you can't say what they did was actually wrong unless a standard exists outside of us, above us, again, Allah, God, that sets the bar for what is right or wrong. If you're going to say that society is the one that dictates what is right or wrong, then Hitler did nothing wrong. The Nazis at that time did nothing wrong. Another example would be slavery, right? Slavery was legal in America as well as throughout the world, 200-300 years ago. So the law of the land in many parts of America was that slavery was okay to do. If someone who's an atheist, who doesn't believe in God, someone who is a relativist, they would have to say, well, yeah, slavery was okay for them to do at that time. They would have to say that, because as soon as they start to say that it was wrong, now they're going outside of relativism and they're quoting a standard. And a standard, meaning a standard of right and wrong that exists outside of what we think, proves that God exists. Right? Because who is the one who set up that standard? If someone says that our societies set up that standard, well then when one society does something bad, you can never say that society is bad. So you can never say the Nazis did anything wrong. You can never say that, America, when they had slavery in this country, did anything wrong, because it would be wrong from whose perspective? You would have to have a perspective outside of ourselves, outside of society, which says what is right or wrong. Think about, if no human ever existed, would things still be right or wrong? If we're just part of the animal kingdom, then there is no right or wrong. When a cat kills a mouse, they don't commit murder, right? They're just being a cat. So if our morality is based just on what we think or what our society thinks, then it's no worse for one person to murder or rape another person than another person who lives their lives helping or serving other people. One is no better than the other. It's just our opinion. What I'm getting at is something called objective morality, which is that there is a standard that exists of right and wrong outside of us. If no human ever came into the world, there would still be a standard of right and wrong. Well, who put that standard there? God. God is the one who is outside of us. So there's things that we would all agree were wrong, right? Like rape or torturing infants for fun, right? Those things would be wrong across pretty much anybody that you run into. However, if there is no God, then there's no way to say that those things were wrong. Again, I say relativism fails. I say relativism is, again, what Kanye was saying. Nobody can tell me anything about what I do is right or wrong, right? That fails because when that morality comes up against another person who believes that their morality is right, and they conflict with one another, who's right? Society says relativism, which is that society dictates what is right or wrong. That doesn't work either, because you have instances where where some will love their neighbors, some will eat their neighbors. Is any one morality better than the other? What about slavery? What about the Third Reich? Those are instances where a society has done something immoral, but if the society is the one who dictates what is right or wrong, then what they did was perfectly fine. If slavery was okay and morally right because the law of the land was that it was right in that part of America, then that would mean that If it was right, that anyone who tried to change that would be what? Wrong, right? They would be trying to overthrow slavery, but slavery, according to that society in that time, was the law of the land. It was the morally right perspective. So anyone who tries to change that would be morally wrong, unless there is a standard above that society, a la God, who would say that slavery was not moral. So if there is anything that we can say is immoral, that actually proves that God exists. So that's called objective morality. It is the idea that there is a standard of right and wrong outside of what we think. If there is no God, then there is no standard of right and wrong, in which case saying that, say, torturing infants for fun is wrong is the same thing as saying, I prefer not to torture infants. But you could never actually, if you don't believe in God, according to your worldview, there is no standard of right and wrong. And so therefore, you could never condemn anything as any more wrong than anything else, because you don't have a standard outside of what you think or outside of what your society thinks. So you condemning something as immoral is the same, has the same value as basically you saying, I don't prefer that thing. It would be akin to you saying, I like strawberry ice cream over chocolate ice cream. Okay, that's your opinion. But there would be no standard outside of your own opinion to give that any more credibility than just something that you prefer. If you want to get a little deeper into this subject of objective morality, the moral argument, check out that video right there.
Hey guys, these videos take hours and hours to make. Boost my energy up by buying me a coffee in the description section of this video. Thanks so much.
And if you want to make educational videos like this, check out the Pictory link below in the description section. We'll see you in that video over there.